Welcome to Homelink. As a housing provider, you can use this tool to approve client matches to housing and enter information about new housing vacancies. On the landing page, there are several important features. If you have problems with using the system, you can email support through the Homelink support email. To access the system, click the Launch Homelink button. Log in with the credentials that have been emailed to you. The first screen you will see upon logging in is always a consent form to make sure that you understand that you will be accessing protected data on homeless clients and housing availability. If you have any concerns about accessing this data, or you suspect there has been a data breach, please use the contact information here to report this immediately. When you first log in, you will have the opportunity to change your password by clicking on your profile name in the top right. Please do this, following the guidelines given for a secure password of 8 characters with 1 uppercase letter, 1 lowercase letter, 1 number, and 1 symbol. This change will take effect as soon as you click the Change Password button. To open the housing provider view, hover your cursor over the buttons on the blue bar at the far left of your screen. Click the Housing Provider button. At the top of the housing provider view, you will see 2 important summary numbers, the total number of pending clients and the total number of housed clients. You can also see 2 tabs in the middle of the screen. The Forms tab shows the detailed information about each housing vacancy. The second tab is the Clients tab. The left-hand column shows clients who have been matched to a housing vacancy and are waiting for final approval. To approve or deny a match, click on the client name in this column. When you click on the Approve or Deny button, a dialog box will open for you to add further information, including the unit address, date of approval or denial, and further notes. If you deny a match, please add a reason for rejection. Many communities are trying to track this information and better understand how to help clients get approved for housing. Once you save changes, an approved client will move over to the right column and become a housed client. If a client is denied, they will return to the matcher view and wait for another match to be made for them. As a housing provider, you might also be responsible for adding information about new housing vacancies to Homelink, which we will discuss for the rest of this video. Contact your community coordinator if you have questions about whether you will be responsible for this task in Homelink. There are 2 different forms related to housing, the Housing Eligibility Form and the Housing Vacancy Form. The Eligibility Form relates to a broad category of housing, which has the same programmatic requirements for every vacancy, such as HUD-VASH housing. If an eligibility type does not already exist in Homelink, you can add it by clicking the plus sign on the blue bar and choosing Housing Eligibility Type. This form has a list of possible program requirements that could apply to a new housing type. Enter a name for your new housing type, and then choose the relevant requirements from the list. For example, one type of housing may require that a resident be VA eligible, but that they cannot have a meth production conviction on their record. For this housing type, choose Must Be on the VA eligible field and Can't Have for the meth production conviction field. This means that only clients who are VA eligible but do not have a history of meth production will be considered eligible for this housing type. Please note, you can enter a housing eligibility type with no requirements. To do so, enter a name for this type and then leave all other fields as they are on the form. During matching, all clients will be shown as eligible for this housing type. You can now create a new housing vacancy that is of this housing type. The housing vacancy form includes information on a specific building or unit, such as whether it is smoking or non-smoking and what date it is available. Click the plus sign and choose the housing vacancy form. The second field on this form is where you will indicate the eligibility type. Start typing the name of the eligibility type and choose the correct option from the drop-down menu. The eligibility requirements for this housing type will now be applied to this specific housing vacancy. Fill out the rest of this form, making sure to fill in all the required fields with a red star. Please note, you can include multiple units in one form if they all have the same characteristics, such as 10 available units in one building. Once you have filled out all required fields, you can save changes to this form. Your new housing vacancy will now appear in the Forms tab on the Housing Provider view, and the units will appear to matchers who are making new matches to clients. If you need to make any edits to this housing vacancy, you can always click on the blue Edit button at the top right of the vacancy. For more information on other Homelink tasks, please watch the relevant training videos and contact your community coordinator if you have any questions. If you notice any problems or have issues with using Homelink, you can always use the link at the bottom right of the screen or email us at homelink-support@palantir.com. Thank you for your work to match homeless individuals to housing. We welcome your feedback to continue to improve this system and help fight homelessness in your community.